There is a moment in a man's life when everything he relied on disappears, when the friends he trusted so much vanish, when the messages stop, when the money tightens, when his woman turns her back on him, and when no one is coming to save him. It's a moment a man sits alone and realizes he means nothing to the world. No one texting him, no one asking if he's okay, no one even remembering he exists. But let me tell you something that will surprise you. That is not the end of a man. That is the moment God finally has his attention. Because most men never truly meet God in abundance. They meet him in absence. Job knew this. He had everything: children, wealth, honor, and in a single season, it all vanished. He stood in the dust of his life, clothes torn, body worn, grief pressing down like a heavy stone. And yet he lifted his eyes and said, "The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Job 1:21. Job did not understand everything in that moment, but he was learning a truth that would reshape his life forever. Years later, after the storms, the betrayals, the sleepless nights, Job confessed, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job 42:5. Do you see the difference? Hearing about God is not enough. Feeling God, even in the silence and suffering, that is what transforms a man. David knew it too. Anointed publicly, yet hunted in caves, no comfort, no crowd, no applause. Alone in the darkness, he wrote, "Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me." Psalm 27:10. Before God gives a man authority, he removes the false security around him. Because what a man leans on will eventually replace God in his heart. So God removes the crutches. Paul begged God to remove his weakness. God refused. Instead, he said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Notice this carefully. Power does not arrive when a man becomes capable. It arrives when he has nothing left to rely on but God. This is why some of you are alone right now. Not because you are rejected, not because you are forgotten, but because God is protecting you. He will not give a man a relationship that would replace the altar. He will not allow companionship to become the thing he looks to for salvation instead of God. So he waits, he withholds, he allows the silence to teach, he allows the emptiness to grow uncomfortable, until a man finally realizes, not as a quote, but as a conviction that shakes him. If God is all I have, then God is all I need. And when that truth becomes real, loneliness turns into intimacy. Dependence turns into strength. Faith stops being optional and becomes survival. This season is not punishment, it is preparation, because the man who learns to stand with God alone will not collapse when blessings return. My brothers and sisters in Christ, let me tell you something. When a man has no one but God, something terrifying happens, and it changes his life forever. At first, fear creeps in. It presses down on him, demanding solitude, silence, isolation. This is the season when God does something most men resist. He removes the crutches. He strips away comfort, the easy answers, the helpers, the lifelines. No friends to lean on, no money to fall back on, no one to rescue him from himself. And in that silence, a man finally faces himself. He sees the cracks he ignored, the pride he disguised as confidence, the desperation he called ambition. This is God's classroom. No calls, no hands reaching out, no one watching, no one noticing, no one coming. And in that emptiness, the man begins to understand something most men never do. The world cannot save him. He must learn to stand alone with God. Look at Moses. He had been raised in a palace, surrounded by wealth and power, a prince among men, a life of privilege, comfort, and security. And then God called him to the wilderness and lived as a shepherd in Midian, where he spent 40 years of nothing but sand, sheep, and silence. Moses had to learn to depend on God alone. Each day, God provided what Moses couldn't make himself: manna in the morning, water from a rock. Exodus 16-17. Not because Moses was strong, not because he deserved it, but because dependence was the only way he could learn faith. The wilderness was terrifying. It stripped him down to nothing. It removed every safety net, every distraction, every lifeline. And in that emptiness, Moses began to see who he really was and who God really is. Every man who sits alone faces a similar wilderness. The silence presses, the loneliness aches, the world feels far away. And yet, in that void, transformation begins. He begins to notice the small things: a breath that steadies him, a thought that guides him, a quiet voice that whispers he is not alone. The cracks he once hid now become windows. The pride he once wore as armor now melts under God's presence. The desperation he once mistook for ambition now sharpens into purpose. This is where strength is forged, not in comfort, not in applause, not in the company of men, but in silence, in trial, in total dependence on God. He learns that survival is not about being strong. It is about trusting the one who never fails. And slowly, fear loses its grip. Doubt no longer weighs him down. Loneliness stops being a prison and becomes a teacher. Doors that once closed begin to reveal new paths. Opportunities that once seemed lost now align perfectly. And he begins to walk differently, stronger, quieter, unshakable. He no longer seeks validation from the world. He no longer chases approval. He no longer fears being forgotten. The man who stands alone with God has discovered something every man longs for, but few find: true power, true peace, true purpose. Alone, stripped, and tested, he is unbreakable. He is ready. He is alive. Because the wilderness does not crush him, it prepares him. Because the silence does not destroy him, it teaches him. Because the absence of everything else does not leave him empty, it draws him closer to the one who is enough. And when he finally rises from that season, he walks into the world with a confidence no storm can shake, a faith no trial can destroy, and a purpose no distraction can steal.